Well, hello, and good afternoon. This is Oscar Hines. Welcome to Ninja Talks. On Ninja Talks, we like to dissect it with some of the most amazing mindsets around. Some of the most creative thinkers, some of the most out-of-the-box thinkers. Man, I'll just start checking boxes, and I'll keep checking boxes until at the end of that, I have Kalia O'Guillory. What is up, my beautiful sister? I absolutely love the idea of having you here. I am beyond excited. So how are you?
I am doing, if anything would be better right now, Oscar, I'd be dreaming, man. That's how I'm doing.
So you are living the dream.
I'm in it right now. I'm in my divine purpose. Walking in it, upright, doing it afraid, doing all the things.
I love that. I love that. So no, I love that so much because that is one of your hallmarks. You are fearless. And when I met you, I literally was attracted to you from across. I don't think I ever told you this story. I was attracted to you from across the room because you were pulsing. You had this energy. You had this wonderful, inviting energy. And I was like, hey, and you were like, hey, and we were like, hey, what's up? And I met a friend like, bam, just like that. So, you know, Ninja Communications is about communicating, right? This book that I wrote talks about communicating, and you are an amazing, amazing communicator. So I always like the audience to sort of get a little insight on what that is for you. How do you connect with people so quickly?
I just naturally do it. You know, I think the main reason why I'm able to connect so immediately is, for one, is because I desire it. I'm a lover of humanity. Yes. I love to connect with people. I love to learn from people and sit at their feet. But I also show up as my true, authentic self. So I'm not worried about, I hope they don't see my insecurities or my vulnerabilities. Well, I show up as I am, and I'm okay with, if you see my insecurities and my vulnerabilities, then good, because that way I'm able to penetrate your soul a little bit more so we can really truly have a divine connection.
Wow. Now that's the way we start a conversation right there. Now you're already dropping the damn mic. We just opened the mic up. What just happened? All right. So let's back up. Let's back up. That's like the KO knockout, right? All right. So let's back up a little bit. Tell this audience about some of the wonderful things you've done, a little bit of your background, because I think that when somebody understands sort of where you came from, they'll understand where you are right now. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so let's just start when I was born, when I was a child. I'm a product of a illicit marriage, or illicit affair, I should say. My father was married and had a whole nother family. I found out that I was a love child maybe 3 or 4 years ago. Not by my family, but by his oldest daughter. And so that rocked my world, because it almost gave me a little bit of truth of why I was the way I was, why I was walking around with all this shame and guilt, why my father abandoned me. Well, it's because he had a whole nother family. Yes. And so when you know me, is to know that I'm an extension of everyone. I am transformation. I am philanthropy. I am obsessed with sleep. I am struggling with depression. I am out here chasing my dreams. I am an extension of you.
Yes.
And everyone that's out here watching this as well. And for me, it's a journey that I've gone through, right? So you go through that as a child, then I find myself playing basketball at a Division I school where I learn discipline and I learn all the skills that I need. And then I find myself as the youngest VP at Wachovia Bank, doing my thing in a financial services industry that doesn't look like me, that's not that is not lesbian, that's not black, and definitely not a woman. And I was 26, 27 years old. And then I woke up one day and I realized that my ladder was leaning against the wrong building. And so why I say that is that I was at the intersection where my contribution no longer met my satisfaction. And in order for me to be fulfilled, I realized that every rung I got on the ladder, my income is going to double or it's going to triple. I'll be satisfied. I wasn't. And then when I woke up and I had that epiphany and that aha moment, it was like, KG.
Yes.
In order for you to fulfill your divine purpose, your ladder has to be leaning against a building that has your name on it.
Right.
With vision and values that you created, not by someone else. Nothing against corporate America. I got all my transferable skills. I can negotiate my butt off. But I had to drag my ladder along the way. So it was leaning against the right building with my name on it, because in order for me to live out and fulfill my why, I had to do that. And so my why is that generational curses will die with my parents, and I will birth a generation of wealth. And I'm not talking about the kind of wealth that jingles in your pocket or folds in your pocket. I'm talking wealth and generosity, charity, and integrity. That's the type of wealth that I'm after, that I want to bring through for my generations to come.
I love it. I love it. But see, the essence of what you're saying is that you're bringing a spiritual gift, in the sense that you're elevating the individuals around you. So vibrationally, you're changing, you're altering the butterfly effect.
Listen,
right?
I am all for the effect, and
Yeah.
I'm so happy you understood that, because that's really what my purpose is. That's exactly what it is. The work that I do is all around humanity, and how can I vibrate higher so that I can also share my gifts and talents with humanity.
Yes. You know, one of the aspects, and I don't think people really understand it, is we really are a vibrational energy. And
Totally.
and folks, you all know, we talk about this sometimes, that the idea of when you meet other people that have a higher elevated vibration, that's not caught up in jealousy and strife and backbiting and all of those sort of base behaviors that denigrate us as humans, and then we're operating on acceptance and love and peace, and that attracts people. Now all of a sudden you're changing the world. You could just smile at a guy. I've always told my kids, say something nice to the cashier on the way out.
Right.
That might stop her from beating her kid who gets pissed off, who goes out and joins a gang.
You never
just
know.
From that. Yeah, it's the
Absolutely.
butterfly effect. Right?
That's it, man. That's it.
So we haven't even begun to talk about some of the ways you've affected things. And I was sharing your story, a little bit of your story, with some ladies downstairs, and it's amazing what you have done with the foundation that you started. So we're going to take a quick break.
Okay.
When we come back, let's talk a little bit about that,
Let's
because
do it.
you changed some worlds that this past month or so.
we collectively changed some worlds.
Okay, well, we'll accept that. It takes a village to change the world.
It does.
So, folks, you are listening to Ninja Talks. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we are here with Kalia O'Guillory. Stay right there. We'll be back in just a moment.
Aren't you tired of not getting what you want in bed?
Are you ready to spice things up behind those closed doors?
Woo! We're here for you every hump day at 7 p.m.
This is Sex on the Edge with Jen and Hen. I'm Jennifer Reeves.
And I'm Hendrik Scott, and we are professional licensed sex therapists.
So remember to watch us Wednesday at 7 p.m. on Edge Radio TV, just in time for sexy time.
And we are back, and this is Ninja Talks, where we get an opportunity to talk to some of the great thought leaders, and certainly sitting in front of one right now. I'm jazzed to have with me Kalia O'Guillory is in the house. And Kalia, you did something really, really cool over the holidays, and it's not something you just started. You've actually been doing it. Has it been 9 years now?
9 years of our 9th annual Giving Tree.
Wow.
3 years partnering with Walmart.
Wow. How cool is that? So the Giving Tree is a way that you give back. Tell the audience a little bit about that.
So circa 1990, let's call it. I'm born and raised. I hail from Port Arthur, Texas. My mother and I, as well as my sister, we walked into the mall, and it was around the holidays, and there was this huge Christmas tree as normal, but it had names on the ornaments this year. And I asked her, why is there writing on the ornaments? What's that about? She said, oh, those are families in our community that are struggling to provide gifts and toys for their family this holiday season. She's like, matter of fact, you and your sister go and grab an ornament, so whenever we're shopping for our family, you shop for those families. And in that moment, the Guillory Giving Tree was founded. Wow. We didn't even know it. And so fast forward to 2002, I graduated from the University of Central Florida in May. My mother, let me back it up a second. I came home for Christmas 2001 and found out my mother was diagnosed with Lou Gehrig's disease, also known as ALS. ALS. Yeah. And for those who are not familiar with the disease, it literally shuts down all of your muscle function, and your brain is still going. You're still alert. You're still doing all the things that you normally do, but your body literally shuts down. So the ability to walk, talk, eat, speak, all those things are diminished very rapidly. It's a very cruel disease. Yeah. And that diagnosis came 2001. I graduated May 2002, celebrated my 22nd birthday, October 2002, and a week before Thanksgiving, my mother lost the fight. Wow. And so as I'm sitting in the hospital bed on her deathbed, waiting on my sister to fly in from Philadelphia, I made a promise that I would continue her gift of giving through her legacy. And I didn't know what that would look like. I didn't know anything about a 501c3, but I committed that I will continue her gift of legacy and also spread ALS awareness. And so I went dark for a year. I gained 50 pounds. I thought my life was over. That's where my depression hit. And then my sister came, got me off the couch, shook me around, said, you're going to therapy. And I got my life back together. Fast forward to 2011, I founded the Cynthia A. Guillory Foundation to pay homage to my mother and her legacy, and to also spread ALS awareness. And so that was our very first Giving Tree, was in 2011. And it's been amazing to grow since then. You know how Facebook shares memories with you? Yes. So I shared a memory from like 6 years ago, and I was looking at that picture and almost like sobbed with happiness, because we had one room and it was like maybe 20 toys that we had managed to get donations for. And then this was right after the 9th annual Giving Tree, when we did what we did, and I'm like,
wow, because
mine was blown.
yes. I love that, but there's an inherent lesson, and I think if we move away from what you just shared without sharing this with many people right now who could be suffering in darkness because you went to a dark place, you gained 50 pounds, you felt like you were lost.
Totally.
And, from that pain, and it's almost, I don't know what it is about life or nature, the universe, whatever it is, it's almost like through pain, amazing things can be birthed.
Totally. It's a phoenix.
Yes.
I'm a walking, breathing example of a phoenix. I'm a Scorpio, and that's my sign. And so
I love Scorpios, by the way. There we go.
We represent life, death, and a rebirth. And I feel like that was one of my rebirth situations right there. And I have been able just to keep on going, not without fights, but it's internal fights. But it has just continued to propel me and catapult me into just next level of healing, next level of understanding, and just next level of radical self-love. Not just self-love, but radical self-love.
Wow. And that now, when somebody's in that place, when they're in that dark space, and they're sort of generating this self-pity, this self-loathing, whatever that is, whatever the narrative in their head is, they can go one of two ways. They can do what you did, which was take all of this energy that was just sort of encased and then cause it to sprout this amazing, incredible tree that's now become a fruit-bearing tree that's providing amazing shade, real positive shade,
man,
to a lot of people, because you impacted a lot of lives, and they still don't know what you did.
Let's tell them.
We're gonna tell them. So that's pretty powerful. But in the learning process, I just want you to share this nugget, and let's go back to this. How do you go? You got a crossroads. They could have gone your route, or they could stay in perpetual darkness, get on drugs, and their life is screwed, blued, and tattooed. Totally. What do you tell somebody to keep them on the track that you took?
Remember why are you in this pain? Like, what caused your pain? For me, I was in pain because I was 22. I still needed my mother. She was my best friend. I felt like I had so much more life to live, right? And for me, it was like, I was mad at God. How dare you take my mother away? You know my situation with my father. He was not in my life. So like I'm a parentless child at this point.
Yes. And
my grandfather who raised me was older. He was in his 80s. So I knew it was just a matter of time. He didn't have that much runway left. So for me, it was, I had to decide. And really it was, my sister helped me. So your tribe is your vibe.
Yes, yes.
So my sister came and she got me off the couch and she said, Mom sacrificed way too much for you to play small. Get up, let's go.
Wow.
That was the pivotal moment for me. And so I was suffering in silence. And if I could go back, I would tell my sister, as she knew, right? It's my sister, like she knows me through and through. Sure. But I think for other people who are struggling, identify the source of your pain. What's the root of your pain? And if it's a person, a situation, a place, identify how you can get out of that. Pull yourself out of that with your bootstraps and then seek help.
Yes.
Tell others, because when it's the moment we speak it, we offer in the opportunity for us to get help.
Wow. And so many people, they suffer in silence.
And we shouldn't. We don't have to. There's so many people who want to love on us, who want to help, who want to provide a resource, who can provide tools, who can share a personal story. Sometimes just someone sharing a story that connects with you and say, hey, I've been there. Here's what I did. This is my playbook. Let me share it with you. And I'm going to check on you next week and hold you accountable to make sure you shower and brush your teeth today. Something as basic as that. You need that.
Yes. Wow. Well, the holding accountability piece, that becomes a job that a lot of people don't want to take on. But what you're saying is you could save somebody's life just doing that. You know, I remembered one guy, he called me and he was just like hanging on by a thread. And all I said to him, not knowing he was hanging on by a thread, I said, listen, man, sometimes in the darkest hours we find ourselves, so don't give up.
Yeah.
Just keep going.
Yeah.
And you'll see the light.
Because what's on the other side of darkness is light.
That's right.
On the other side is always going to be light. And I think also for me, one of the things that I committed to doing a couple of years ago is the moment someone crosses my mind, I don't care what I'm doing, I will stop, pick up my phone, and if I could call them, I will, or just shoot them a quick text like, hey, I did that twice this morning.
Wow.
I stopped what I was doing. You're on my mind. And it was like, oh my God, KG, I really needed to hear this, because I just poured into him like, you were light, you were love, like thank you for being you, thank you for inspiring the world. And just that, it was like, you have no idea how much I needed to hear that.
Wow. You're connected to him vibrationally, though. I
Totally.
mean, maybe I sound a little witchy woo woo to some people, like, "Oh man, vibrationally this,
Witchy
you are
woo.
incredibly," what you know. But if you really, I really look at us as energetic beings. I seriously view it that way.
We are.
And I think when you have a thought, think about how many times you mentioned your mom. I mean, how many times have parents called and said, "Are you doing okay right now?" And you're like, it's weird that you just called me.
Right.
That, you know, that they can feel it. And there's even been scientific studies that show that you can separate the cells of a person and stimulate cells 40 miles away, and the cells 40 miles apart will still react to the stimulation from another cell. There's documented studies. So our whole body, our universe is sort of connected that way. So let's go back to what happened with this incredible vision that you had for your mom, because you, like you said, this past December, you did an amazing event. I was there. I loved it. It was so special. You did an incredible job. So how did all of this sort of manifest now to what it is today?
It was a collective. Like, it really was. It was us. It really was, because I welcomed and I intentionally welcomed people into that space who I knew would honor my mother's legacy and also not have a problem serving her at their best capacity. And so it was the 9th annual Giving Tree. I woke up maybe 4 weeks before, literally 4 weeks before the actual event. Don't do it my way, okay? Give yourself time to plan. Right. But I woke up and I said, how could I do something different? Like, it was just something in me. Like, I want to do something different. I want to do more than just what I normally do. Mm-hmm. And I knew that I was from Port Arthur. We had supported Port Arthur 2 years ago because that's where my hometown. I thought, I have a business here. I have connections here in Houston. Let me transition this thing to Houston, and how can I make it bigger? So I picked up the phone. I called Councilmember Edward Pollard out here in District J, and I said, you just posted on Instagram that you're working to make sure that your district is no longer known as an underrepresented community. I got an idea. Got on the phone, pitched him. He was like, I don't know what you're talking about, but let's do it.
I love it. And he is awesome. He's been here a few times, and I love him.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
Yes.
And so fast forward, I then called on 20 plus of my eligible single friends who are influencers in the community, who are professionals, who I know have a heart for giving. That was the baseline. They had to have a heart for giving. And said, would you be willing to auction off hangout sessions, business sessions, personal, professional, whatever you feel comfortable with, so we could raise money? And when I tell you, Oscar, we raised the most money in all of Cynthia A. Guillory Foundation history in the past 9 years, in the middle of a global pandemic, when unemployment rates are up. Yes. We were on the cusp of had an election that even happened by then, but we were in a turmoil of all this. We had Black Lives. 2020 was just the year. Yes. And in spite of all that, we all banded together and raised $16,000 in one night. In the middle of a global pandemic. And then fast forward, we went to Walmart in this underrepresented community and paid off over 130 layways.
Wow.
For the people in that.
30. That's a lot of people.
Our average was $90, $100. So we weren't just paying off $20 here, $30 there. Like, we were paying off $300, $75. Like, we were paying off some layways.
Wow. I absolutely love it, because I know you made a few calls, and I heard the folks. They were like, you're joking right now. This is not happening. You say you are paying off. And man, I was like, this is so Ellen right now. I was like, you have personified that energy.
Heard that, Ellen. You heard it, right?
Ellen, let me tell you right now. And not only that, you can dance your ass off, which is part of my deal. So folks, I'm here with Kalia O'Guillory. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to continue this conversation about some of the amazing accomplishments. Back in just a moment here on Ninja Talks.
The Natural Nation Network is really about taking control of your health physically, spiritually, emotionally, even intellectually, because there's so much out there in misinformation. There's a lot of people now that are suffering from all sorts of diseases that they really wouldn't have to suffer for if they had better information. And that's what we're here to do. Provide information that can save lives.
The mind and the body are totally connected.
Health can be really serious, and sometimes we just have to lighten it up a little bit while we're still providing substantive information.
And my sort of mantra on the salsa dance floor is kind of similar. I tell somebody, if you make a mistake twice, it becomes a move. Okay.
Tune into Natural Nation every Tuesday at 11 a.m.
And we are back. This is Ninja Talks. You are watching the Edge Radio and TV. We are so delighted. We're talking to KOG, the ultimate OG is what I'm thinking.
Oh, come on.
So you were telling us about the amazing leaps and bounds that this wonderful charity's taken. It's really started with a very humble beginning. So you didn't feel like, did you feel like you would see it at that level? Did you feel like it was going to get there?
I just was like, I'm going to do it. And however it happens, it's going to happen, because I knew at the baseline of it all, I was leading with integrity. I was leading with intention. And I knew that the desires of my heart was to impact as many people as I possibly could. So I never put a limit on it. I didn't say, oh, I'm out to like impact 100 people, or I didn't limit myself. Mm-hmm. So the ceiling is always adjusting for me, because there actually is no ceiling. It's proverbial at this point, because it's just going to keep going. So this year I was like, well, it's the 10th year of Giving Tree. Let's figure out how I can raise $100,000.
That's right.
Why not? I'm starting early. Like, we'll figure this out. It's out into the universe. It's in Edge Radio TV now.
Yes.
So I'm pretty sure someone watching this right now is inspired, and they have a charity, and maybe we could do a collaboration.
Absolutely. And we love that. Something else, and I for us, one of the projects I'm really looking forward to developing, and folks, for those out there, want to make sure I say this while it's on my mind. We will be having an event this coming Saturday. Starts around 4 or 5 o'clock. And we're going to have open mic. We're going to be bringing in indie artists. We're going to be bringing in talent, people, different, and these are all 20-somethings, 30-somethings that are looking for their space.
Okay.
And I want to provide an open mic for that. I'd like to hear, absolutely. And by the way, if folks have not been here, we've got a full restaurant downstairs with a bar that does some killer margaritas. I'm a margarita fan. So yeah, we're gonna have happy hour. It's gonna be really, really cool. So we invite people to come out. If you're not up to anything, it's right in the heart of Midtown, and we'd love to have you out. But I mention that because I love the idea of helping people develop, helping them evolve. I think when someone has a passion, a calling for that, and that's something that you've had a lot of people that you've taken under your wings, so to speak. I see the reverence that a lot of people had for you in that space. The respect as a professional, the respect as a flawed human that's okay putting her flaws out there. I mean, all of that. Part. Yeah, that part. People feel that, and that's the genuineness they feel from you. So in the context of being able to impact lives, how can we all do a better job of that?
Just do what's on the heart. I think oftentimes I posted a video a couple of days ago, like, fear is our superpower, and it will paralyze us unless we reimagine the relationship with it. Because if we reimagine it and we realize, like, fear can really be my ally, it can be my homegirl, it can be my homeboy, then now it could catapult me to doing the things that I really truly want to do. Like, if I team up with fear and I'm like, because I'll have a talk with fear, like, all right, fear, I'm a little nervous about taking this shot. I need you to help me get through it. And fear's like, all right, Just do it afraid. You got it. What's the worst thing can happen? Versus like, oh, you can't do that. Like the negative talk doesn't even exist in my head anymore. And the moment it comes up, I shut it down.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know I've told myself and I choose, because we all have the right to choose a different way.
Yes.
So I choose to say, okay, no more negative thoughts. We're going to do positive thoughts here. So I would say for someone, just go.
Yeah.
Just shoot your shot. And what's the worst thing that can happen? Right? Like what literally is the worst thing that can happen? If you want to do something, go out there and do it. And the biggest advice I could give someone is what I operate in my life mantra. It's not just 2021 mantra, it's my life mantra. Why duplicate mediocrity when you can borrow genius?
Ooh.
So sit at the feet
Ooh.
and learn from geniuses all
Yeah.
over the world, you
Yes.
know? And it's not just people in your immediate circle. I learn from the living and the dead.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
Jesus, the source, God, my ancestors, my guides, my guardians, those are all my geniuses, and I tap into them every single day. I tap into Oprah, I tap into Ellen. They don't know me yet,
Yes.
but I'm tapping into them and I'm learning. I'm watching their moves. I'm watching people here in Houston. I'm watching people all over the world, and I'm connected with people like you and learning from people every single day. I have tribal diversity.
Yes.
So that means is that I can learn from a 2-year-old all the way up to a 100-year-old, and they look different. They don't come from where I come from because I know I have blinders and I want them to show me what the difference is of where I really want to go.
Wow. You know, that takes such an evolved, like what you're saying requires a really evolved, self-actualized being. Like
I don't know everything.
A lot of people are still caught up in their shit. They cannot get out of their own head enough to be able to learn from everyone and everything. Because I think that's the fundamental problem in this country right now. The reason there was such division is that people only see their own myopic view rather than expanding to this possibility that everybody around us can teach us, everybody around us we can engage in, and then we can give them back something of great value. So what I love that you just said, and I think it's worthy of, again, just highlighting that a little bit, is this idea of making friends with fear, because you have to leap and then the wings will appear. And sometimes they don't appear until you're ready to scrape the bottom.
You are about to say, like, this is the last of me. And it's like, oh, okay, I'm still here. Totally.
and then right when you go, whoof, and the parachute opens, you're like, oh my God. Like, why were you trying to get me to poop my pants? What was that about, man? Damn, you could have helped me out a little bit before
Where were you 10 seconds ago?
Exactly. So that's sort of but I think we almost have to play with it a little bit, because you are playful. I think when you talk about someone like Ellen, what I love about her is how playful she is with the space she occupies. And I think there's a level of focus and intentionality.
Totally.
But at the same time, it's not so, I used to race motorcycles, and the thing that I know is that when you're coming around a curve, if you're locked up, you could die. So don't lock up. Stay loose, stay fluid, but don't lock up, right?
Stay loose and stay fluid. That's a whole word right there.
Yeah. So you have fun with your challenges, and you when you're having those conversations with fear, how does that sound? Are you just like, you MF, is this what you're doing to me?
I'm fine. I find the
funny.
funny. I find the funny. So every time I'm presented with a challenge, all right, let me find the funny. There's something funny in this situation. This person just really teed me off. Let me find the funny in this. And some days I do better. Some days I don't. Some days I'm like, I will read you to filth. Okay. And then some days I'm like, it's cool. I'm operating in flow. It's all good. Yes. Everything is like unicorns and lullabies and everything else. And some days it's like Al Pacino, like it's about to go down. I'm from Port Arthur. Like, let me put these hands on you. But it's really a balance, right? Because if we can explore the duality in everything.
Yes. And
we can, again, it's like, it goes back to, we can make that choice to decide what's going to be best for us, right? Like, when we're presented with something, we have to take a second to step back. I think the problem with society is that we feel the need that we have to be on. Like, we have to answer immediately. We have to connect immediately. No, sometimes just give yourself a chance to pause, check in with self. Like, how does this make me feel in this moment right now? And then choose, and then trust that there's no right or wrong answer there's just going to be a consequence.
Mhm.
That's it.
Mhm.
Like, the consequence is going to be this. I could deal with that. I reprogrammed and reverse engineered my thought and my mindset that I'm not going to make great or bad decisions, great or poor decisions. I make decisions, and then there's consequences, and then I move on.
Wow, man. So there's has to be a book coming out soon. So, well, you know, because I'm loving what you're saying, but something that I want to highlight again, just in terms of really being able to pull some of the jewels out of this, is that a lot of times when you're dealing with those fears and those insecurities and those voices in your head, it does immobilize you. It absolutely, you can be stricken with fear. But to the point that you're making, there's consequences for your actions, but you should act in how you're feeling, in the language of your heart. So one of the things that I hope listeners will take away is that you really can't always control every thought that comes into your head.
Nope.
But what you can control is your awareness of how you're feeling, how it's making your body feel.
Absolutely.
How it's creating the psychology with which you're approaching the next situation you have to deal with. And then from there, taking that and spinning it into, it's going to work in my favor, it's going to be okay. You know, my mantra is, life doesn't happen to me, it happens for me.
That's it.
And it has happened for me. I mean, last year was a hell of a year for me personally. I had I'm saddened by the tragedy, but I also found my own inner voice, because I walked in the forest and I was making videos out there in the woods and people thought I was nuts, but I was hearing a voice.
Yeah, you were doing you.
Yeah.
And I think if we could go back and unpack because I think what you said was so spot on, is that we can control what we control. And I think that how you control it, I think people forget, and we don't share as thought leaders and visionary and entrepreneurs, to share the how. And my how is that I put my armor on every day, the first thing in the morning. So the first 30, 45 minutes, depending on my schedule, is dedicated to me. Goes back to that radical self-love. So people are like, KG, how's your energy so buzzy? How are you like able to smile through the day when you're having a terrible day? It's because I put my armor on first. I go through my affirmations. I tell myself I love myself, and I don't just love myself, it's radical self-love. I nourish myself. I have rituals. I listen to devotionals. I sing, I dance. And some mornings I'm listening to Israel and New Breed. Some mornings I'm listening to Tupac. Like, it just depends what's going on. But that, for me, that's my worship, right? It's what I need to do. If I need to go outside and hug a tree with no shoes on, I do that. If I need to just listen to some meditation music or just journal, it doesn't look the same every day, but I know that I'm committed. Before I check my phone, before I check my calendar, before I respond to emails, I put my armor on, because I know the moment I step out into the world, it will attempt to chew me up.
Yes.
But because I'm armored, it won't penetrate me.
Yes, I love that. I love that. And I love the idea of radical self-love, because if you can be radical about how much you care about you, it can arm you. That suit of armor that you're talking about makes you impenetrable. So that is cool. That's what ninjas are, impenetrable.
Hey, that's it.
Look, I am talking to a ninja, folks. This is Ninja Talks. So here we are. We're going to take a quick break. When we come up back, we're going to wrap it up. I want to talk to Kalia about one other thing that she's doing that's amazing. So folks, don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a moment. Are you a small business owner concerned about the downturn in the economy? Top business leaders like Mattress Mac and Warren Buffett will tell you that now is the time to promote your business more than ever. People need your services. Your business needs an edge. Learn about special advertising packages for small businesses right here on Edge Radio. Find out more, give us a call at 281-744-0446. That's 281-744-0446. Edge, because truth still matters. And we are back. This is Ninja Communications, and we have been talking to Kalia O'Guillory. Hey. It has been this amazing, amazing conversation. You hit on so many jewels. I'm going to ask folks, they got to go back and do the replay. They're going to have to get the transcript of what you were talking about. So do you have a book in you? Do you feel like you're gonna write something?
I have several, and people keep asking KG, when is the book coming out? And I'm like, as long as when I can sit still and hire a ghostwriter. So any ghostwriters out there, hit me up. I need one because I know I'm not going to write it. But if I could sit and just do this and talk to someone about it, it will come out of me. It will just pour and ooze out of me.
Wow. Well, I will say this. When I wrote my book, I talked it. I literally just sat down with my microphone, my Dragon, and I was narrating it, and then I would come back and edit it. So you can do it that way if you want to.
Sure could.
That's a possibility.
That is a possibility.
Yeah. I don't know that a lot of folks are comfortable doing that, but the way I complimented you off screen, but the way you formulate your ideas is brilliant, and that's how the narratives need to be in that book, in that bestseller that is going to land you on the couch of some of the greatest movers and shakers on the planet.
Come on, palms are up, ready to receive. I touch it and agree.
Yes, we feel it. Yeah, you feel that energy. It's gonna happen.
Yes, it is. I believe it will.
When I see somebody that has all these stellar qualities, they stand out, and it's clear. Everybody knows it. Everybody loves you. You are truly universally appealing. I don't know. Is that a compliment?
I like that. I want you to consider putting that on a T-shirt.
Oh, I love it. That's true. That could be a T-shirt meme. You're right.
Come on, Oscar.
I love it. So you did one other thing. We just have just a couple of minutes now. I want folks to know how to connect with you. You did one other thing that I thought was brilliant. You took something that everybody loves and you made a business out of it. Tell us about this.
So it really came about because one day I was my then wife, my ex-wife now, we were carpooling into the city because we both were in corporate America. We had side hustles, and it was around nap time. And I normally would nap in my car or nap in an unused conference room or just nap somewhere. But I looked at her and I'm like, it's nap time. And you're in the car with me. This is going to be a little weird. And she's like, Google naps in Houston. Surely there's a place where you can go and take a 30, 45-minute nap. I was like, you're right. I was disappointed. No such a place existed in Houston or any remotely close to the area. And I looked at her and I said, I'm disappointed. She said, don't be. You should start it. You should create it. And I was like, people aren't going to pay me to take naps. They could do this at home. And so that night